My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prospective Ghanaian card applicants left stranded at National Identification Authority offices nationwide. A staff of the entity commenced an indefinite strike over poor working conditions. We'll bring you updates from the ground. Also, large consignments of critical medications for tuberculosis, HIV and malaria remain locked up at the Tema port, despite repeated assurances by government to have the supplies cleared, speaking fears about imminent shortages. Much later, flag bearer of the governing NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, kickstarts his 3-day tour of the Ashanti region. We are there live with updates from the campaign tour. And also build up to that crucial World Cup qualifier between the Ghana Black Stars and their counterparts from the Central African Republic. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, scores of Ghanaians have been left stranded at the offices of the National Identification Authority, NIA. A staff of the entity began a nationwide strike today. The NIA Divisional Executive Council of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress declared a strike effective today over grievances related to their conditions of service. The union had initially planned to strike on March 24, but deferred their decision after meeting with representatives from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the management of the NIA. Now, despite this, the union claims that the government has since acted in bad faith during negotiations. The union, in a statement signed by Council Secretary Kwabena Kyereme and Council Chairman, detailed their grievances as follows. The government teams under undue delay in the negotiation process, the government team's posturing and reluctance in granting the NIA institution specific allowances, failure on the part of management to implement the approved scheme of the service for the staff of NIA. Noble Crosby Annan is monitoring the event. He'll be joining us very shortly. But let's cross over to the northern region where correspondent Christopher Mwakon reports the Sanerigo office of the NIA is locked as staff stayed away from work. He joins us live on the line now. Christopher, what more can you tell us regarding this very situation?
Yes, so Beatrice, I've been to some offices of the NIA in the Tamale Metro and the Sanerigo municipality, and I can say that after the time I visited these offices, around 11, these offices were still under lock and key, and prospective applicants who were at the offices of the NIA to either get their new cards or update their information were left stranded. For these persons, most of whom have traveled from far places to come and update their information, they are disappointed, and that the authorities should reconsider their decision, because some of them are students who need this information to be able to get their ISRIT cards and also be part of the process. So they are disappointed and calling on the aggrieved staff and government to reach an agreement as soon as possible so that they will be part of the process. Let's take a listen to what one of them has been saying.
I came here to do my Ghana card, and when I got here, they were like, on last week when I came, they told me to come on Monday. But when I got here today, they were like, they are not working. So I've been sitting here for about an hour, but still no one is here. I need it just like for a bank account. I'm just creating a bank account, and I need a card. Yeah, and also being a university, before you pay your fees, you need a Ghana card. So that's the reason why I need it the most.
And you had a prospective registrant at the NIA office in the northern region, obviously frustrated by the absence of staff members. Let's go to the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar is standing by for us. He joins us live on the phone as well. Ibrahim, what can you tell us from there?
Literally, the situation here in Ashanti region is not any different from what's happening in the northern region. People have been left stranded this morning. In fact, most of them were unaware of the strike, and they just came in the morning and they realized that the offices have been locked. And some had to wait, hoping that the officers will come later in the day and process their cards for them, just to hear that they are on strike. And people have come there hoping that they will get their card, others to replace, others to also update their information for the other things to do. And they do not even know why the strike and when these officers will be coming back. And some of them spoke to me very briefly.
We don't have that yet, but can you paint a picture for us, the level of disorderliness, as it were, at that place? How many people are there, hoping that there would be some people to attend to them?
Well, currently, as I speak to you at this midday, most of the offices have been deserted. You don't find anyone there because they came early in the morning hoping that they will be attended to around 10, 11 when they heard the news that the officers are on strike. Then most of them began to leave. It is at the regional office that you find one or two people loitering about, hoping that maybe something or a magic will happen so the officers return or resume their services and attend to them. But gradually, the various offices are being deserted, contrary to what we see on working days that you go to these NIA offices and you realize that all the places are congested. Today you come there and nobody is around.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar, reporting live from the Ashanti region. Here in the Greater Accra region, my colleague Noble Crosby Annan has gone to the headquarters of the National Identification Authority. He'll be joining us very shortly to bring us a situational report. But some people who went there without knowing that staff members were on strike spoke to him earlier. We can listen to them and then we can cross over to Crosby.
My Ghana card, and when I got here, we were like, on last week when I came, they told me to come on Monday, but when I got here today, we were like, they are not working, so I've been sitting here for about an hour, but still no one is here. I need this agent, like for a bank account. I'm just creating a bank account, and I need a card. Yeah, and also being in university, before you pay your fees, you need a Ghana card, so that's the reason why I need it the most.
You heard the prospective applicant at the headquarters of the National Identification Authority expressing his disappointment that there was nobody there to attend to him earlier today. Now, it's been excuses upon excuses from the government on reasons why the Global Fund commodities aimed at supporting HIV, TB and malaria programs remain locked up at the port since May last year, causing increasing concern, with some civil society organizations threatening to demonstrate. Already, our checks reveal that the country faces imminent shortages of TB and HIV drugs at health facilities, while concerns remain rife on the dangers associated with the situation. At the just-ended World Health Summit in Geneva, the Global Fund sent a strong signal to the Ghanaian delegation that it may sever its ties with the country if the commodities are not cleared as a matter of urgency. However, despite the gravity of the situation at hand, the drugs remain locked up at the port as of today, while patients are beginning to bear the brunt of shortages. Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiansari, had this to say when we asked about the locked up medications. Listen.
It's an unfortunate situation. We are still working on it. Because if you leave things in the port for a long time, it will create damages. That's where the problem is. We are finding a solution to it. Anybody who is listening to me that is supposed to do something about it should just sign the paper and let us move on and clear all of them from the port.
We are finding a solution to it, solution that is yet to arrive. That was Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiansari. Let's get on to the phone lines and engage the Executive Secretary of the Stop TB Partnership Ghana, David Kwesiafre, who joins us on the phone right now. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Beatrice, and it's good talking with you this afternoon.
You are on the team as well, on the ground. How dire is the situation with the imminent shortages of the essential medications for TB and HIV currently?
Yes, I can speak to TB, and that is because the situation of TB is very bad now. There is shortage of the drug as we speak in the country. We have more than 6,000 human beings who are currently on treatment on TB. And so if we do not get the containers from the port today, tomorrow, what we are about to face will be too dangerous. When TB patients on treatment don't complete their treatment, there is a possibility of developing what we call drug-resistant tuberculosis, which is also treated with another version of medication. And so the first-line treatment is what cures the person at a go. If the person misses the drug, maybe after treatment for 3 months, 1 month, 2 months, and the person doesn't have the drug, or the person is lost to follow up, and then we are not able to get the person cured, and the situation gets aggravated, it moves to a certain level. It can become drug-resistant tuberculosis. It can become multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. It can also become extra multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, depending on which one you are dealing with.
How bad can things get, as in complications leading to death in the short term?
What did you say?
I'm asking how bad this could get, because you're already narrating the incident of drug resistance, and I'm just asking whether that could lead to complications and eventual death, even in the short term.
Yes, exactly. That is what it means. Because anybody who is TB, who is not treated, will die. TB is a deadly disease. It kills. It kills. TB kills. TB is the second highest cause of death in the globe. TB kills. And so if you put people on TB medication, or if a country does, that is why the Global Fund comes in to support countries to be able to address TB, address malaria, and address HIV. And for TB, it is curable. And it's so deadly. It's more deadly than HIV. And so if you are TB and you don't have the drugs to take, you are just preparing to die. That is the meaning. And when you don't have, you are on the, in fact, the worst of it is that you are on the drug, and now you couldn't get the drug, and you have to stop taking the medication, and then it develops into a higher type of tuberculosis. And that even speeds you up towards death.
Let me just find out how long it could take if you don't have access to the drugs before we get to see these consequences you talk about.
Oh, so you see, somebody can die in 3 days' time, somebody can die in 1 week time, somebody can die in a month's time, depending on even the stage of the disease at the time of diagnosis or not, whether the person is diagnosed or not. Now, as we speak, there are people who are bedridden. So when a person becomes bedridden before the person is detected for TB, it means that person needs special care. And so it's not just even the TB medication. It goes with other care, other medications, supplements, and other things to make sure that the person's system is able to resuscitate.
Let me ask you.
So there are different stages, and so somebody without taking the drug in the next 3 days, the person may go. In the next 1 week, it will be somebody's 10. In the next 1 month, it's somebody's 10, depending on the stage the disease is with the person.
Seems very dire there, but let me ask you, as a member of the CSOs in this area, I know there have been some meetings going on. What can you tell us about what information, first of all, you've gathered on what is causing the current delay beyond the normal excuses we've had over the months, and really what you're doing to ensure that we're able to deal with the problem?
So what we know as at now is that the Minister of Finance needs to give clearance to the Minister of Health. There are monies that were supposed to be paid to some clearing agents and all of that. And then there was a tripartite agreement between Ghana Revenue Authority, the Port and Harbors, the Minister of Finance and Minister of Health, and then the Global Fund. And so at the end of the day, the Global Fund had to make some commitment by even paying about $86,000 so that the containers can be cleared. Now, that payment was done. Governments must also make a payment, and that payment must be done by the Minister of Finance. And so as we speak, as at last week, the whole of the week, the information that we are having is that the Minister of Health has gone to the Minister of Finance looking for the clearance so they can go for the containers. But the Minister of Finance has not fulfilled what they are supposed to do as of yet. And this is the call we are having. Look, the containers are many. We talk about 185 containers which are supposed to be cleared. The one that contains TB medication is only one. It's a single one container. It's a container that contains drugs for the next 6 months of those who are on medication and those who are supposed to come again on medication. Every day, today, people have been there. Every day we diagnose people for TB. Every day. In every month, we have more than 1,000 people coming on medication. In every month, you have more than 1,000 people. So divide that by every day. You have an average number of people who are diagnosed TB every day.
The situation there, I hope the government is listening, and this one container, as he talks about, would be clear in a matter of hours, as it were. But thank you very much for speaking to us, David Kwesiafre, who is the Executive Secretary of the Stop TB Partnership Ghana. Thank you for speaking to us. Now, angry youth in Keta in the Volta region are this afternoon seeking justice for their neighbor who died in police custody on June 5, 2024. The youth are accusing the Keta police of subjecting Jerry Posonu, alias Maya, a 45-year-old father of one, to violent torture, subsequently resulting in his death. Jerry Pesonu, a landlord, was arrested by the police after a misunderstanding ensued between him and his tenant. Convener for the youth group in Keta, Wanda Denyu, a while ago addressed a news conference calling on the powers that be to serve their fellow deceased justice. And he joins us live on the phone now. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm wondering why the youth group, which you're a part of, is accusing the police of this crime.
Thank you very much once again. We are accusing the police because they have arrested our brother, brutalized him, beat him, tied him, molested him, and in fact, humiliated him. So that is why we are saying that as a police service, who is supposed to maintain law and order in our society, and now some of them, let me not indict all the police service. There are some good men in there who are professionals. So some of them, or two of them, molested our brother, killed him in their custody.
What evidence do you have to suggest that the police did that to him?
Because there are eyewitnesses who witnessed from, let's say, from the beginning, how they have molested him, beat him, hit him with sticks, with wires, and so forth, tied him with wires, like he's an animal, like an armed robber, without doing anything. For him saying that, no, my tenant, there's not agreement with you and I to fix an AC or air conditioner in the house. And the tenant and then the AC repairer will call the police to come and do this. And before we realized, our brother died in the cell.
Mr. Senyo,
and the police are denying it.
Just take us to the basis. What led to his arrest, first of all?
We can't. That's what we are saying. They're just between him and then his tenant, because the tenant brought in an AC repairer to come and fix something in the house, and then the landlord is saying that, no, my tenant, he didn't inform me, so what is going on will not happen. So he informed the AC repairer that, oh no, my brother, leave the house for me. He refused to leave. And then Maya took some of his working tools and locked in the house, in the room. And before we realized, this thing has generated into a whole lot of things. And then he called the police to his arrest. The police came in. Instead of them to arrest our brother, they rather beat him, do a lot of him as if he's a criminal.
Let me just ask you very briefly, Mrs. Denyu, beyond this press conference, what do you intend to do to bring justice to this deceased person you talk about?
To assure the public, we are going to petition, the next move is we are going to petition the police IGP to interdict the two police officers who we allegedly, or who have killed our brother, to for a better investigation to happen. And moreover, we want the police to compensate the family for us. And then moreover, we want a justice to be served.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. You heard Wanda Denyu. He is the convener of a youth group in Keta in the Volta region, seeking justice for their neighbor who died in police custody on the 5th of June this year. Now, Professor of Economics with the University of Ghana Business School, Patrick Esuming, is criticizing the majority leader, Alexander Apanyo-Marking, for telling businesses, as it were, what to do as regards the cedi dollar rate. Apanyo-Marking at a press conference asked businesses to stop changing their cedis into dollars in the hope of dealing with the rampant volatility of the local currency. But in an interview with 3FM, Patrick Esuming said that the majority leader has no business telling people how to run their businesses. He said his focus should rather be on fixing the problems with the cedi.
First of all, I think it was quite a surprising thing to hear coming from the majority leader. It is not in the place of the majority leader to tell businesses how to run their business. He seemed to say that people are holding dollars. But when businesses are buying dollars, it could be that they need the dollars to import goods and services, or they are using the dollar as a store of value. If they use the dollar as a store of value, it means they don't trust that the cedi will be a good store of value going forward. So they are betting against the cedi losing value. That's why they will buy dollars and hold. That in itself, that kind of speculation, it doesn't come from free space. When people speculate like that, they have reason to think that maybe because of how the economy is managed and because of how things are going, they've lost confidence in the Ghanaian cedi, and that's why you decide to hold dollar and use it as a store of value. So I think what's more important is for the government to focus on fixing the problems. And then when that happens, if people think that the economy is going to do well, nobody will tell anyone not to buy dollars. People will have the confidence in holding their dollar. So if there's anything that he should be communicating what government is doing to solve the cedi problem in the longer term, not telling businesses how they should run their business. I think the fundamental thing is that we have an economy where it's too easy for people to hold foreign currency. People who have no business having to hold foreign currency are given the opportunity to hold foreign currency. So the rumors you talk about politicians holding dollars, if it turns out to be true, it shouldn't be surprising because ordinary Ghanaians also do it. And don't forget the politicians are also like us. I think the issue we should be addressing is not just saying we are going to chase people who are buying or selling in the black market. If we feel that, people who have no business buying dollars should not be buying dollars, we should pass the relevant laws and implement them. I think that when we have a system that anybody who doesn't have any business importing or exporting can just show up and buy dollars, then the moment there are little sentiment, movement in sentiment, you will see what will happen is that people will start holding the dollar.
You heard Patrick Esuming. He is a professor of economics at the University of Ghana Business School. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. When we come back, we'll tell you more about Dr. Bawumia starting his 3-day campaign tour in the headquarters of the MPP, the Ashanti region. Stay with us.
Now is an opportune moment for investors to consider the remarkable investment opportunity presented by the Floria Residence, the pinnacle of luxury living in Cantonment, offering a range of options from executive studios to lavish penthouses, including 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments. Amenities and services includes round-the-clock security services, dedicated play areas, a bustling commercial zone, state-of-the-art fitness facilities and gym, a well-appointed conference room, an elegant rooftop sky bar, and a breathtaking rooftop infinity swimming pool. Additionally, residents benefit from the convenience of a secured 3-floor underground car park, while those residing in the ocean view penthouses enjoy unparalleled vistas. We are located opposite the Laboni Palace Mall, Accra, Contact us on 0595 700008.
And also here on the Midday News on 3FM, thank you for staying. That flag bearer of the NDC, John Mohammed, says a future NDC administration will address the high cost of living and rapid depreciation of the city. In a live social media session, the former president urged Ghanaians to join him rescue the country.
Let me assure you that no matter the challenges or artificial obstacles they erect in your path to prevent you from exercising your franchise, my victory in the polls shall be your victory. It shall be a victory for all the suffering Ghanaians. There's a rising feeling of frustration and anger bubbling up amongst our young people. Justifiable anger and frustration against this failed administration. It is anger against the economic mismanagement, the hardships, the widening inequalities in our country, and the unprecedented corruption that has become the signature of this government. Our national debt of 120 billion Ghana cedis in 2016, shared amongst our population, meant that each of us owed 4,000 Ghana cedis. Today, our national public debt of 658 billion cedis, shared amongst our population, means that every Ghanaian owes 22,000 cedis. The youth are also right to be angry at how the domestic debt exchange, the haircuts, when we said there were going to be haircuts, the president said there will be no haircuts. Notwithstanding all these socioeconomic difficulties, the young people continue to observe the opulence of the administration's officials and their families.
Flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, and that of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the current vice president, is also in the Ashanti region. He's kick-started his 3-day tour of that region. Now, the tour of the NPP stronghold will also see the flag bearer engage the business community, clergy, and other identifiable groups. The highlight will be his meeting with artisans at the Swami Magazine industrial area. We'll bring you more on this later. The Black Stars will go to battle against Central African Republic at 7 p.m. today in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Otado's side won their previous game against Mali in Bamako on Thursday evening. A win for the Black Stars will potentially move them up to first in Group 1 of the qualifiers table. 3 Sports Oreku Ampofo joins us live on the phone with some more. Oreku, it's a pleasure really having you on. But first, tell us what the mood is like in Kumasi.
Well, thank you very much, Beatrice. It's a typical day in Kumasi, and usually if the match is in the afternoon, you would see a lot more people trooping onto the streets around this time. But I think it's the first time we're playing at night at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in a very long time. So it feels like a usual day, people going around their day-to-day activities. But I've already been at the stadium, and there's a number of people who've gathered outside to try and get their tickets ahead of time. And so, like we've become accustomed to, we should expect the people to fill the Baba Yara to its capacity later tonight.
Tell us the availability, as it were, of the squad members for Otado.
Well, Otado did hint that there were a couple of injuries during that win over Mali in Bamako a few days ago. But then again, he went on to say that despite these injuries, he's expecting that all of them would be fully fit ahead of the game and all 26 members would train. And that's what happened yesterday. I do suspect that there is the possibility of fatigue coming in because once again, they played in a very, very difficult environment where the temperatures were around 42 degrees Celsius, and they had to take about a couple of water breaks to ensure that the players stay hydrated. So I do believe that it probably did take a lot out of the players. And so Otto might have to dig deep into a squad to be able to ensure that they stay refreshed ahead of the game.
Reku, 30 seconds. Any surprise lineup we should expect?
Well, we saw Otto surprise everyone because in the build-up to the game against Mali, in about the 5 days of training, they did train in a back four, and usually it was a 4-2-3-1 formation. But now what we're seeing is that in the game they played a back three, which ended up surprising the opponents and then Ghana as well. So it's difficult to predict Otto at the moment, but I do suspect at home against Central African Republic, they have to go for it, and so probably go back to a 4-2-3-1. As for the personnel, it will be extremely difficult to pick at the moment, but with the form of Jordan and him scoring after coming on, I do think he makes a good case for himself to come back into the starting 11.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Orekwan Pofu, for bringing us that update. We wish the Black Stars all the best. And that's how we end the news here on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Hello there, good afternoon. It's time now for Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, cement prices defy ministerial order reaching 109 Ghana cedis per bag. We'll tell you the factors hampering compliance with sector minister's directive. Also, Ghana's gold production expected to reach 4.5 million ounces in 2024. And later, Ghana advances towards becoming international vaccine and drug manufacturer. We'll bring you the details shortly. I am Michael Obodu. Please stay. Well, thank you for staying with us. Straight into our top story. Despite a directive from the Trade Minister to reverse recent price hikes, cement prices in Ghana continue to climb. The factory price of a bag of cement has reportedly risen 3 times in a row, reaching a staggering 109 Ghana cedis. Bismarck Awusa sheds light on why manufacturers are unable to comply with the directive. We'll bring you that inset shortly. Now, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has reported that total gold production in 2023 reached 4.4 million ounces, up from 3.7 million ounces in 2022. This 8.3% increase was primarily driven by a significant about 71% rise in small-scale mining output, which jumped from 0.66 million ounces to 1.1 million ounces. At the Chamber's annual general meeting, President Michael Edem Akafia expressed optimism that large-scale gold production could rise by approximately 200,000 ounces, potentially reaching 4.5 million ounces this year.
Now, in terms of the mineral production outlook for the year 2024, we expect a broad-based growth in minerals, especially in gold production, which is expected to see a jump in production from 4.3 million ounces to 4.5 million ounces. There are a number of new projects that are in the pipeline, including Newmont's Ahafo North project and Cardinal Nandimdi's gold mine, which is expected to contribute significantly to this growth. Manganese production is expected to increase to 5 million tons, and bauxite increase to between 1.2 million and 1.5 million tons. And diamond in particular is expected to increase from 220,000 carats to 250,000 carats.
So that was Michael Edem Akafia. He is the president of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Speaking that away from that, Ghana is advancing towards its goal of becoming an international vaccine and drug manufacturer with the introduction of its integrated regulatory information system management system. This new system will digitalize the FDA's regulatory operations, including the lot release of vaccine manufacturing, and enable clients to submit and track their applications online. At a media briefing during the presentation of servers for the system's implementation by GIZ, Deputy CEO of the FDA, Seth Seneke, highlighted that the new equipment would significantly support Ghana's ambitions to become a vaccine hub in the sub-region.
There has been a major boost because since the president expressed the interest for us to become a vaccine manufacturing country, the aspect of regulation has not been left out. Everybody understands that without a strong regulator, the vaccines that we produce will not get a good market. So since then, the FDA has been preparing seriously to regulate the vaccines that we produce in Ghana. And this afternoon's presentation of service will help us to be able to get closer to that goal that we have put before us.
So that was Deputy CEO of the FDA Food and Drugs Authority, Seth Seneke, speaking there. Meanwhile, GIZ says it remains committed to supporting government in its vaccine manufacturing drive. Vilma Hugo is the cluster coordinator at GIZ.
This handover ceremony today was very important together with our partners. We want to bring Ghana to the next level. And for us, the MSE machines that we handed over today, they are very important for the digitalization of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA. I understood that Ghana wants to develop to a regional hub. We already heard today here by Dr. Kodo that the point is that Ghana is producing vaccine for the region, perhaps even worldwide. We heard the example of Rwanda, who is very much depending, of course, also on this production. So we want to support this development.
So that was Wilhelm Hugo. He is the cluster coordinator at GIZ. Let's take you now to our earlier story on why cement prices have remained high at 109 cedis a bag.
Cement prices have risen sharply from around 80 cedis to 108 cedis within the last few months, raising concerns amongst many stakeholders. This compelled Trade Minister Katie Hammond to issue a directive instructing manufacturers to halt the increment and publish their retail prices to curb arbitrary hikes. But these directives have failed. Here are 5 reasons why Katie Hammond's directives may have failed. First and foremost, the production of cement involves several key inputs such as clinker, gypsum, and energy. Increases in the cost of these inputs due to global price hikes or local supply chain issues make it difficult for manufacturers to reduce prices. Secondly, fluctuations in the exchange rate can significantly impact the cost of imported raw materials, which constitute a large part of the cement production process in Ghana. A devalued Ghanaian cedi increases the cost of imports, making price reductions unfeasible. The directive may have lacked effective enforcement mechanisms. Without a robust system to ensure compliance, manufacturers may not adhere to government mandates, especially if they conflict with economic realities. Ghana operates under a largely liberalized market economy. In such an environment, government directives to control prices can be seen as contradictory to the principles of free market operations and are often resisted by businesses. Cement manufacturers need to maintain certain profit margins to stay viable. Mandating price reductions without addressing cost structures can threaten the financial health of these businesses. Bismarck Kausa, 3 Business, Accra.
Well, that brings us to the end of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. And Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe, and Black Rasta is on standby.